All right, let's talk about Guildfest. And in this video, we're going to talk about Labyrinth and Tycoon. So, even though it's specifically free to play, um, these two types of quests are really good for free to play. Um, let's start up. Let's look at the board right now. So, there's currently one quest, Encounter 2 Labyrinth Guardian, and there's nothing else for Labyrinth or Tycoon. But basically, there's two types of quests for both of those. So there's the ones where you have to encounter the guardian, so or jump or land on a gemming gremlin on Tycoon. These are the good ones. The bad ones are the ones where you have to use a set amount of holy stars or tokens. Um, on average, I'd say you need to plan for about 10,000 holy stars per guardian at the worst case scenario. Usually I can do 2 and 3 guardians with about 15,000, like 10,000, 15,000 holy stars. So I would just make sure that I have enough to do a quest before I do it. Very important. And as far as Tycoon, so I see a bunch of new quests. Don't see Tycoon. The rule of thumb for Tycoon is that you need about, on average, you need about 8 tokens per guardian. So if you do the smaller ones, which is two guardians for 130 points, you should plan for about 16 tokens. And the bigger one, which is 8 guardians for 214 points, you need to plan about like 64, 65 tokens. So these are really good quests. If you compare to the other ones where you have to use a set amount of tokens, I would say on average you get a better result with the guardians compared to the set amount. They don't give really good points for the cost of holy stars and tokens. Now this is for free to play. Obviously, I'm not gonna talk about Elite Labyrinth. Obviously, I don't have it unlocked. So if you're free to play, you will never have this unlocked. So I'm only gonna talk about the quests that you get when you're at the very least in Blue Gauntlet, so Advanced Gauntlet. So so these are the guardians for Labyrinth. My suggestion is to so whenever Guildfest happens, you have like 3 or 4 days, middle of the week, where you have Frostwing, and then the other days it's a different monsters. I would suggest to not do Frostwing because Frostwing doesn't give out rare material. So I suggest that, for instance, these last few days of Guildfest, I did a bunch of Labyrinth because of this monster. And I did not do any, even though those quests are good, I did not do any when it was Frostwing earlier this week. You can get Holy Stars a couple ways. Just monster hunting in general, you get some. It's rare, you don't get a lot, but you get some. The main way to get them is to get the Lucky Stars from Trickstar. It's a good way. You get like you get a random amount, so between 100, 1,000, and 10,000. So the worst case scenario, you get 300 holy stars every 2 days. Best case, you get 30,000. I don't recall ever getting like 30,000. But I've gotten like 21,000 a couple times. So it's a very good way. I suggest you stock on them in between Guildfest for these quests. You also can get some from Phantom Night, which happens from time to time. So the other way well, obviously the other type of quest is Tycoon. So like I said, on average, it takes about like 8 tokens. Obviously, you should make sure that you do those quests whenever it's a good rotation. It really depends on how you use your gems. Obviously, before picking up a quest, a Tycoon quest, you gotta make sure that you either have the tokens, which in this case don't have a lot, or you gotta make sure you have the gems for that. I could buy a 100 token pack from the shop for 60,000 gems. But at the moment, I'm saving my gems for two things. First of all, I'm gonna try to save for the next bargain store, and then whatever overflow, basically I'm gonna try to get to 300,000 gems, and then the overflow probably gotta go to tomes because I'm trying to unlock sigil, and I have some tomes, but I need way more than that. So it really depends. For Tycoon, it really depends on how you manage your gems. They are good quests. I would suggest that you focus on the 4 and 6 gemming gremlin because the 8 is very rare. It's a very good quest, 214 points, but it's rare and it gets picked up by your guildmates. The 171, to me, it's probably the best one. Obviously, it's above the average that I said, the 140, 150 points. It's more common on the board. Right, like I said, right now it's not there. But it's a great quest because, like I said, you get about, and I mentioned that in other videos, whatever the cost you spend on the tokens, you get about like 25% back just by lending on the gemming gremlin. Even if you get the bare minimum, like 900 gems. So it's pretty good. And then everything else, good loot, rare material. 3 out of the 4 rotation, you can get grays and greens. When it's shaman, you get only grays. And all the other ones also, aside from shaman, you get some packs, special packs. Some people don't like when we say it's pack 5, but whatever, it's better than pack 4. So it's a great way to spend your tokens, spend your gems. But these are really good quests. So if you're a leader rank 4, I suggest that you keep any of the Tycoon quests, especially the 214, the 171 on the board. The 130 is I mean, it's still nice. It's still a good amount of point. It's lower than the average that I suggest, but at the end of the day, the average is the average. It means as long as you get the average, you get a good score. So if you do a 168 and you do a 126, I mean, it's a 145 average, something like that. So it's still good at the end of the day. So that's basically it for this video. It's a short one. Never select the bad quests. Like I said, use Holy Star, use spend token. These are really bad quests. Never pick them. All right, that's all for this video. If you have any comments, feel free to write it down below, and I'll reply if it's good, or I'll ignore if it's bad.